Hi guys, welcome. This is gonna be my birth story of my firstborn. So that's almost 4 years back now, but it was quite traumatic. So I want to tell you more story because I keep on watching other women's stories, and I really want to share mine. Maybe it will be helpful. Maybe it will give you some insight. But yeah, I want to share it with you. So I was pregnant, obviously. And we stayed 2,000 kilometers at that stage, stayed 2,000 kilometers away from my parents and my husband's parents. So we didn't know what way to go and all that natural birth and C-section and what to do. We weren't sure because we wanted people there with us, and it wasn't that easy for them to travel. They wanted to plan, wanted to know when to start driving, when to take leave from their work, etc. So, and it's like a 2 days drive, and they didn't want to fly because we didn't stay close to an airport. We still stayed like 4 or 5 hours away from the closest airport, so the flying wasn't an option. They needed to drive. So, for South Africa, at that point, we stayed in Limpopo, and my parents in the Western Cape, and my husband's parents in the Eastern Cape. So, yeah. And so we went back and forth the whole time with the doctor. And it's our first baby. So my husband went to every single appointment because, it's the first time. You don't know what to expect. You want to hear everything. You don't know what's going to happen at each appointment, what the doctor's going to look at. It was an incredibly good doctor. We had learned so much. He explained every single thing, and every time we had a detailed scan, it was like an hour long. So we saw the baby for an hour every single time. That was amazing. And then by the time it came to the end of the pregnancy, where I had to go bi-weekly, I think at that point, bi-weekly. And then it was like, okay, my husband can't take time off work every single time because he had to drive an hour to get to the doctor. I work right next to the doctor. So for me, it was fine taking, I just went in lunchtime. Okay, there I'm at the doctor. And then I walked literally because it was the building next door, which truly was amazing because it never interrupted my work schedule and traveling and stress to get to the appointment in time and back to work in time. So that was really a blessing. I really appreciated that. So yeah, so I went for my 36-week appointment. I just also wrote exams 2 days before that, or the 2 days prior to my giving birth. I had this pain on my whole belly. My whole belly was sore for, I gave birth on the Friday, on the Wednesday, and the Thursday, the evenings, and it was my whole belly was in pain. And I didn't know what it was. I just like lying there. It was so sore. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what it was. I didn't really, I think I mentioned it to my mother, but she gave birth naturally 2 times. So, but she didn't mention anything or commented on it or anything. So I was just like, you know what? I'm tired. Pregnancy is painful. My body, I don't like being pregnant at all. Like morning sickness was very bad. I threw up a lot, and my body just ached the whole third trimester. So yeah. So I just thought, oh, it's part of pregnancy, it's the end of pregnancy, it's part of the pain I'm experiencing. That's it. So I went to my appointment on my for 36 weeks, and the doctor like looked at the scan, and he did not even wait to like let me hear the heartbeat. And he was like, okay, you need to go next door so that we in the next room so that they could monitor me for like 10 minutes, only 10 minutes. And after that 10 minutes, he's like, okay, your baby's coming, you need to go to to the hospital now. Like the first and only appointment I think my husband didn't go to. I can't remember that well because it's like almost 4 years ago. So, and I was like, okay, but we only had one car. So I was like, how's my husband gonna get to me? But the car is with me. Luckily, the baby clothes, everything was packed already in the car. But how's my husband gonna get to me? Do I need to go and fetch him? We stayed 27 kilometers out of town. I was like, okay, what now? And I cried because now my mother's not going to be there. No one is going to be there. We have to do this alone. like alone. And I freaked out. I went next door to work. Then I had to tell the people, like, bye guys, I need to go now. I cried at work also because that morning I went to a woman at work, one of my friends at work at that time, and she's had three babies naturally. And I went to her, I asked her, I told her my whole belly is sore prior to the appointment. And I was like, does this mean anything? Is that how it feels before you go into labor? Because then the thought crossed my mind. I was like, maybe something is going on. And she's like, no, I never experienced anything like that. It's not that. So it's fine. Guess what? It wasn't fine. So by this time, I still don't know the reason because I didn't get. Then I went for a C-section. So it was sort of an emergency C-section. I the doctor didn't check me whether I was dilated or not. So probably there was something going on with the baby, and it was like the baby need to come out now, and he didn't want to tell me because he didn't want me stressed and all of that. So it was like I still don't know. 4 years later, I still don't know. I think I didn't ask the doctor because I didn't want to know. I was just like, okay, let's get this baby out, get it going. And I was so like blindsided by the fact, oh, you're going in now, like now, and I wasn't prepared at all for that. That might be an option. So went to the hospital. Luckily, someone got my husband to the hospital. He came to work, and then we went to the hospital. And yeah, I got admitted and all of that. And then it was time to get ready, and my mom was crying over the phone because she wanted to be here. Then they didn't know when they were able to come. They were like, "Do we come today? Do we come?" Ugh, not today. They couldn't come that day because they weren't even at the house at that point. They were out of town, so they didn't know when they were coming. I didn't know when anyone was coming. I sent people messages, cried because I was like freaking out. No one is there for me. Everyone was away from us because we were alone in Limpopo. And so by the time we had to go into the theater room, and I told them, listen, guys, I throw up very easily from anesthesia or anything like that. Like I throw up. Just so you know. And they're like, no, you're gonna be fine, and everything. And when I had to drink something for nausea. They did give me that. And then they gave me the spinal. I'm traumatized from spinals, like really traumatized. I was like, because I didn't know what to expect, and then I need to go in there alone. I quite don't understand why your husband can't hold you into position, like because I wasn't then. They told me, okay, sit like this. You need to sit like this now. And then he poked the needle and literally my whole body jumped. And I was like, what the frick are you doing? Because I was so scared that maybe they're not going to do it right and then I have lasting damage. All that fear. And everything went fine. And then when I was lying on my back, I started to get very, very nauseous, like really nauseous. And I was like, my blood pressure dropped crazy low. And then I threw up. But no one realized I was throwing up. Because then I was like laying back and I was like throwing up. And I'm like, guys, you need to help me to like, I can't now sit up and throw over the side of the bed. So that was nice. And I don't know what they gave me, but I was so out of it. I was awake, but almost drugged. Like I said crazy stuff. I can't quite remember anything. I remember telling the doctor, like, I just don't want the ugly baby and all of that. And afterwards, I was in so much pain before even going back to my room. I was in so much pain. I cried for them to give me pain medication, and they didn't want to give me anything. And I'm like, I just got operated on. Like, it's hurting. Like, I'm having trouble. It's very sore. You need to give me something. And they didn't want to give me anything. And yeah, a lot of people getting morphine pumps and all of that. I didn't get any of that. And I went to my room crying of pain. It's only getting worse, and they didn't want to give me any pain relief. So I think I went literally with no pain relief whatsoever. So it was very bad. So that I remember, it was very painful. And then I couldn't even hold my baby because I was in so much pain, and then also the drugs was so bad that I couldn't even hold her. I was like, she's gonna fall out of my arms because I was so drugged that I could not even, for that whole evening, I wasn't able to do it. I was like, I think I said crazy stuff, and it was really like I was high. So, and that night, during that night, my husband couldn't sleep over. He had to go home. I don't know, all the hospitals I've been at, the husband can't stay over. They need to go home at night. They can't sleep over. So then I was alone. They took the baby to the nursery. That hospital wanted all the babies to sleep in the nursery. They wanted the mothers to sleep, so the babies went away for the whole night. I've almost 12 hours, the babies went away. I totally don't agree with that now. After the fact, I don't agree with it because with my second baby, I didn't experience that at all. It was like, no, your baby sleeps with you, your baby doesn't go to the nursery. So, yeah, that happened. And then during the night, my butt hurt, hurt so much. I was just okay. Maybe I'm just laying on my back for a very long time without moving because by then I couldn't quite yet move my legs or stand up or anything. I was still having the catheter and everything laying there, which in hindsight, horrible experience because with my second pregnancy, second birth, that wasn't the case. Like the catheter was removed so soon afterwards, and then later that day when my husband came and I was able to stand up and go to the bathroom or at least clean up a bit, he saw that my butt was like burned. There was so yeah, my butt got burnt in the theater room. Quite bad. And then I asked for them to put something on it, a plaster or anything, and they couldn't even. It took them an hour to find a plaster, and they were coming and they were like, "Oh no, it's too small. Oh no, it's too small." So it was quite big. They didn't have big enough plasters to put on my bum for my burnt bum, because if you didn't know, in theater rooms, the table you lay on, they heat it up a bit. So they got fluid or something on it, on the heat, on the metal bit, and my butt got burned. Horrible experience. And my doctor was away for the whole weekend. He had his son's bachelor, so he didn't come to check on me on the second day. No. And by the Sunday, I think around noon, when we got discharged, he showed up with a hangover. So, not a great experience at all. So traumatized by that, totally and utterly traumatized. And then no one helped me to try and breastfeed. No one came to me. The nurses didn't even ask whether my baby drank some milk. We tried on our own, my husband and me, but we didn't know what to do. We didn't go to a lactation consultant. The hospital didn't have one, and I was like, no one came. None of the nurses came and helped or gave advice or at least asked whether we tried it. So that day, on the second day, Saturday, my baby went without milk for the whole day because I didn't have milk coming in. My baby didn't latch at all. I struggled with her. She didn't want to latch. They didn't want to help. So yeah, but my baby came at 36 weeks. Her eyes was closed the whole time. She never opened her eyes. In fact, she only opened her eyes when she was 3 weeks old. On the day that she was 3 weeks old, it's the first time she opened her eyes. It's the first time we could see the color of her eyes. So yeah, she was 2.5 kilograms, 51 centimeters, but 2.5 kilograms. It's very small, very tiny, especially for just having one baby. So yeah, none of her clothes fit. We then, luckily, our parents was on their way by that Saturday, but they only arrived, this was on the evening. Luckily, we could ask them, our baby doesn't even fit into a zero size diaper. They needed to get preemie sized diapers. So luckily she didn't have to go to the NICU, but she was so small that the size zero diapers did not even fit. So yeah, she didn't fit into any clothes, nothing. So she was very small and she only opened her eyes after 3 weeks. So yeah, that was quite a traumatizing experience. By the time I could go home, it was, yeah, we were tired. And then, as then my parents came to stay with us and my in-laws, and as I went into labor without even knowing I was going to get the baby that day, have the baby that day, we didn't have any food in the house. We did not have any food in the house. And then we had to go to the shops. From the hospital with a newborn on a Sunday afternoon, getting discharged, we then had to go to the um, shops to buy food. And it was during in South Africa, we had crazy load shedding during that time. And when we went into the shop and got stuff, it was load shedding. And then the generator of the shop didn't want to go on. So they closed the whole shop's doors. It was dark. We had to put on the flashlights on our phone with a newborn baby. First time parents, having people coming to our house to live with us for 3 weeks. And yeah, we stood in the line for almost an hour trying to get to the till because we thought the tills were working because people are standing in the lines to buy the stuff. So we just, okay, we're just going to stand a while. We are doing this. So we did it. And then we realized the line is not moving forward. So we're like, oh, OMG, what are we going to do? And it's Sunday that the shops there, some of them, the ones that's open late, only stays open until like 3 p.m. in the Sunday, on a Sunday afternoons. Other shops don't even open on a Sunday because it's small town, it's a rural town. Sunday is Sunday. They don't open up for business. So then the shop closed, and then we're like, okay, but we don't know when it's gonna open. I'm hurt. I just had this basic emergency C-section with a burnt bum, a newborn. We don't know what we do. People is on our way to stay at our house, but we don't know how long we're gonna stay. So we just left the trolley there, left the shop, and then it was like, where are we gonna find food now? Because that's the biggest honest shop open by that time. So then we went to a garage shop, tried to get basically tried to get food for us because we needed to eat. And yeah, horrible experience. At the end of the day, we went home without anything to give our guests. We had to ask them, hey, on your way, please stop at the open shop and get something for us because we couldn't. So that was a horrible experience for my first day out of the hospital and everything. And then I can't remember when it happened, but I like if it was 2 days later or so. But then I had a scare of a blood clot. Oh, we had to go and get the baby registered. Yeah, I don't know what you call it. Because we went on a Sunday, so no one was there in the hospital to help us. They didn't come on a weekend to do their work, so we had to then go to Home Affairs on a weekday. Horrible. We stood there in the line, and then we're like, no, that's not the line. You need to go there. And it was like 100 people in the line with a newborn. I'm like, okay, but I'm with a newborn now. I need to register my baby, get the birth certificate for my baby. What? Like, I can't stand in a line with 100 people. I just gave birth 3 days ago. You can't expect me to do it. So we struggled with that a lot. It took about 3 days for us, 3 attempts on 3 different days. So every day I had to drive that kilometers trying to breastfeed, trying to figure out how to breastfeed. And my mother didn't breastfeed, so she couldn't even help me. So that was a horrible experience. And trying to pump and going to the shops every single day for like half the day. And then by that time, I think it was too much stress on my body. That one night I cried because I had didn't have I really had a blood clot, but I most certainly had a scare of one. My one leg in the calf was in so much pain that I've never experienced before, not even after the C-section without medication. That pain, it was worse than that. In my leg I was crying and crying and no one could help me. I could not even stand up, I could not even move my body. So then I still had to go to the doctor the next day because we had the scare of a blood clot. So I had to go to the doctor. Like, this happened last night. What's happening? What's going on? Please check me out. So I went to the doctor, and then I had to go to the radiologist, and back to the doctor. And what a first week with my newborn. Horrible. Worst experience of my life. Horrible experience. Don't wish it on anyone, because after you give birth and you go home, you basically don't want to leave your house for like 2 weeks, because you need to, especially first time mom, because you don't know what to expect. You don't know how to deal with everything, and still having a house full of people staying over. So that was a lot. So yeah, that's my first experience. My second one was better, still traumatized of C-sections. um I'm truly traumatized. So I'll shortly share my second birth story with you, and how that one traumatized me. The whole hospital experience on that one was very awesome. Loved it. C-section part, spinal part, being awake while they're operating on you. No, never doing that again. No. I told my doctor, if I'm gonna get pregnant again, you need to knock me out completely. Totally. But then he said that comes with higher risks. So now I'm like, okay, we really need to think about this one. If you want another baby, I'm gonna talk about to a doctor first, like, what's my options? Because being awake for a C-section again, no, that's not gonna happen. I'd rather not have another baby. That's how traumatized I am. But I hope if you have experienced labor before, that it was a much better experience than I had. And yeah, so please check out my next video. I'll share with you my second birth and how that was way different doctor, different hospital, totally better experience. So see you next time. Thanks for watching.